may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.
Maybe not. Good morning. Air Jordan is taxiing for takeoff. Legendary basketball great Michael Jordan is getting ready to return to the game he loves today, Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
From NBC News, this is Today with Katie Couric and Matt Lauer. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Tuesday morning. I'm Matt Lauer.
And I'm Katie Couric. What's that Dolly Parton song? Here we go again.
Yeah, unbelievable. We've been talking about this for a long time. He retired from the game back in 1993 to try his hand at baseball. Then he returned in 1995. But he walked away again in 1999 after leading Chicago to 6 championships. Now the 38-year-old has been working out all summer, playing some pickup games against other NBA players. Outside his restaurant in Chicago on Monday, he told the Associated Press and other reporters, quote, "I'm doing it for the love of the game, nothing else, for the love of the game," unquote. Reached later by the Washington Post, his airness said he was not confirming a comeback. So, will he or won't he? We'll talk to Bob Costas about that in just a couple of minutes. We'll also turn our attention to the economy. Are consumers the only thing standing between us and a recession? We'll get the outlook on that from President Bush's Commerce Secretary.
And speaking of commerce, a man who knows a little bit about that will stop by. Or our old boss, recently retired GE Chairman Jack Welch, one of the most successful CEOs of the 20th century. Dun, da, da, da. We're going to find out what makes him tick. Then Senator Ted Kennedy will be here to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
And a little later on, we're going to have more of our Living Better series with a look at how your mood plays a role in your health. Plus, the very funny Tracy Ullman will stop by to tell us what she's been up to lately.
She's got a new show called Visible Panty Line.
Like
you got to love that. Anyway, but first, his airness, as Matt mentioned, may be reigning once again. Michael Jordan is poised for a comeback. Here's NBC's Bob Faw.
Jordan spinning.
On the court, he's done it all, winning 10 scoring titles in 13 years, leading the Chicago Bulls to 6 world championships, becoming arguably the greatest basketball player ever. And last night in Chicago, the Associated Press says Michael Jordan, quote, all but confirmed he's coming back to the NBA to play for the lowly Washington Wizards. I'm doing it, Jordan told the AP, for the love of the game, nothing else.
I know he's going to play great, but will he be comfortable at 75% of being Michael Jordan of yesteryear? See, he's not going to be the same Michael Jordan.
Later, told of those reports, Jordan said he had confirmed nothing, adding that until he could grade his physical condition 10 on a scale of 10, and that he's now a 7.5 or maybe 8, he's not sure what he'll do. Still, reports that Jordan would make an official announcement within 10 days electrified Washington fans.
But I think Mike will come back and show him that he's not as old as people think he is.
He's left and come back before in 1993, trying and failing in minor league baseball, then returning in 1995 to lead the Bulls to 2 more titles, immortalizing himself in the Windy City.
I think it's great, you know what I'm saying? I miss Jordan.
In his absence, the NBA's television ratings slipped. Marketing experts predict they'd climb if he returns. The AP quotes Jordan as saying, I want to play for years, bringing number 23 closer than ever to 1 more title. Comeback kid. For today, Bob Faw, NBC News, Washington.
And Bob Costas has covered Jordan's career for NBC Sports. Hey, Bob, thanks for coming in. I know how you hate to wake up in the morning this early. You like to wake up in the morning.
Eventually.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I prefer it to the alternative, actually.
Will he or won't he?
Absolutely, he will.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you so certain?
Because he's gone this far along the path. It's not just a matter of getting in shape. He endured the cracked ribs, the back spasms. Could a training injury happen that would sideline him? Yeah, but I think at this point he intends to do it.
Why do you think he's doing it? I mean, what's motivating him to get back into the game?
When he says for love of the game, I think that entails a lot of things besides the game. I think, and I don't mean this as a criticism, I think he enjoys the spotlight, he enjoys the adulation, he enjoys being Michael Jordan.
He talks about encouraging kids and showing them how to play the sport and things along those lines.
I'm sure that would happen, but I think that would be incidental. He has a craving for competition unlike almost anyone who's ever lived. People who know him very well say that he will make a competition out of anything. He plays cards seriously. He'd play ping pong with his kids seriously. He needs competition at the highest level. He can't be the same Michael Jordan he once was, but he can probably be one of the 10 to 20 best players in the league.
All right, let's do a laundry list of what does this mean for certain things. For basketball.
Kind of a double-edged sword. in that there's no question that his return will focus additional attention on the NBA, but they're actually trying to come out of the Jordan era and move into a new era with Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson and Shaquille O'Neal taking center stage. Will they ever be as transcendently popular as Jordan? No, but they're coming into their own. Now this kind of diverts attention a little bit. And if people want to watch the games the Wizards play more than they want to watch the games the Sixers or the Lakers play, in a way it sends a bad message about the future of the NBA.
All right, what does it mean for the Wizards themselves?
Well, they'll be a better team. He's improved them as an executive, added Doug Collins, our old NBC colleague, as a coach, and he's a very good coach. I think they'll be an improved team. That may mean that they can make the playoffs. They can't contend for the championship.
What will this mean to his peers? How will he be received?
He doesn't have many peers. He's the greatest player of all time. There's only a handful of guys left in the league, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Hakeem Olajuwon, whose careers really kind of overlap his significantly. He'll run into guys like Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson, who will want to show him that to a certain extent his day is past.
Let's talk about fans. It was interesting, before the show we do teases with local stations, and I think Atlanta was doing a survey, and overwhelmingly, I believe fans were saying they didn't want him to come back.
Well, a lot of fans don't want the last image to be spoiled. First of all, I think, obviously, it's his life. And if he craves competition so much and he can still play reasonably well, of course he should do whatever pleases him. But a lot of people believe that he had the single greatest exit in the history of team sports, and you can't possibly add to it. You can only detract from it.
And you can only go downhill from there, basically.
Oh, right. Now, his argument is, so what? I've done what I've done, and as long as I'm still a good player. I remember Bill Bradley wrote a book called Life on the Run when he was playing with the New York Knicks. He said he didn't buy the Joe DiMaggio argument that you had to go out on top and never let people see you decline. He said getting better was part of the athletic process, and then peaking and declining was also part of a process that he wanted to live out. Not to the point where he wasn't capable of playing in the league, but he didn't mind playing at less than his best as long as he was still giving whatever was his best at that time.
Well, I think that's a good, refreshing attitude to have, don't you? I mean, I think sports could use more of that.
It makes sense.
Life could use more of that. But
it makes sense for almost everybody except the guy who went out like Jordan did.
Yeah, let's actually take a look at how he left the game on such a high note. Let's take another look at that.
Brian Russell with a quick crossover. Look at Brian Russell slips, and Michael pulls up and buries the shot to give him a 1-point lead.
That may have been, who knows what will unfold in the next several months, but that may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.
Watch Jordan's left hand here as he gives Russell the push. The referee can't see that. Jordan frees himself up for a clean look. The greatest thing about Jordan is he has all the tricks. That's why it's so difficult to guard him.
If that's the last...
No, what I was just about to say there, I've heard it so many times, I practically know it by heart. If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it? See, and that's the difference between him and almost anyone else. Ted Williams hit a home run on his last time at bat, but it wasn't in the World Series. This not only was in the NBA Finals, it turned a 1-point deficit into a 1-point lead and a win. Going out like that, you know, Babe Ruth went out hitting under 200, but there's no film of it. There's no film, you know, it's just a few still pictures. We've got a set image of this guy that some people believe that he's tampering with. Some people think he's a little bit like a guy who's been on the Broadway stage. He's gotten a half-dozen standing ovations and curtain calls, and now when all the folks are in the lobby buzzing about how it was the greatest show they've ever seen, he comes running out in full costume saying, wait, come back, one more thing. You know, and he's a guy who's always had a great sense of theater, but his great sense of competition and need to compete may overwhelm that sense of theater here.
All right. Well, Bob Costas, great to see you as always. Thanks for coming in, Bob.
Thank you, Katie.
It is coming up on 7:09. Now let's get the rest of the morning's news from Ann Curry over at the news desk. Ann?
Good morning, Katie. Good morning, everybody. In the news this morning, for the second time in 2 weeks, the U.S. has lost a spy plane over southern Iraq. Iraq said today that it claimed that it shot the plane down near the town of Basra. The U.S. says only that it has lost communications with the unmanned Predator spy plane, but that it does not know why. A California grand jury has rejected a flight attendant's complaint that Congressman Gary Condit obstructed justice. Anne Marie Smith has accused Condit of asking her to sign an affidavit stating the two did not have an affair. Well, Condit has denied asking anyone to lie. The grand jury said the criminal complaint was not in its jurisdiction. Smith's lawyer plans to refile the complaint. Today, the National Academy of Sciences is releasing a report that says more stem cells are needed if scientists are to find cures for some debilitating diseases. The Academy does not mention President Bush's policy on stem cells directly, but does say the federal funding the president has approved for about 60 cell lines is not enough. Police in Sacramento have released a videotape made by mass murder suspect Joseph Ferguson just before he killed himself. And the tape is chilling in what it reveals about the gunman. NBC's Chip Reed reports.
This was 20-year-old Joseph Ferguson making an angry, profanity-laced statement that police say was taped during his murderous rampage in Sacramento this weekend.
I'm on a hell of a show. I've taken 4 victims.
In fact, police confirmed that at this point, Ferguson had killed 4 people, 3 of them former co-workers at Burns Security, one of them Ferguson's former girlfriend. Now Ferguson was holding another Burns employee hostage along with the man's wife, forcing her to videotape his statement.
Made them do a videotape of him on the video telling how he's going to kill cops and go after other Burns employees.
After the taping, police say Ferguson killed the former co-worker, his 5th victim. In the tape, Ferguson also predicted what would happen later that night, a furious gun battle with police and Ferguson's suicide.
Either a bullet to my brain or cops will kill me. Most likely it'll be a bullet to the brain.
Police say they released the tape reluctantly, fearing that another similarly disturbed individual could view Ferguson as a martyr.
This guy killed innocent people, and that's the way he needs to be portrayed.
5 innocent people, according to police, a number they say could have been much higher. Chip Reed, NBC News, Sacramento.
And Elizabeth Dole is about to become candidate Dole again. Mrs. Dole ran unsuccessfully last year for the Republican nomination for president. Well, today she's expected to announce that she's running for the U.S. Senate, filling in for Jesse Helms' seat. Helms has said that he will not seek re-election. It is now 7:11, and now let's turn back to Matt, Katie now.
All right, Ann, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Roker?
Well, we're keeping an eye on the Atlantic.
You like my part?
I do.
Mr. Roker?
Mr. Roker, thank you very much, Miss Couric, as we take a look now, and Mr. Lauer as
Thank
well.
you.
Let's see, okay? Let's take a look, kids. We've got Hurricane Aaron. It winds at 90 miles per hour, 430 miles east-southeast of Atlantic City. It's moving north. Look for riptides and heavy swells along the northeastern Atlantic coast. Tropical Depression number 7 could be Felix, 35-mile-per-hour winds, 890 miles east of the Leeward Islands, moving west-northwest, so we're keeping an eye on that. And there's a low-pressure system off the coast of Florida that may become a tropical system as well. So a lot of activity in the Atlantic today. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Well, we have had a cool, refreshing change overnight. Good morning. I'm meteorologist Tom Curine. Temperature here at Northwest down to 63. In the suburbs, it has dipped down into the 50s this morning. The afternoon high should make it into the low 80s. It'll be a bit breezy today, but comfortably dry and bright sunshine. Another chilly evening. In fact, widespread 50s common by dawn tomorrow. During the day tomorrow afternoon should be up in the upper 70s. Then Thursday evening, there's a chance of a passing shower. Otherwise, we have dry weather and cooler weather into the weekend.
That's your latest weather. Now here's Matt.
All right, Al, thank you very much. On Close Up this morning, the sputtering economy. Members of Congress are asking President Bush to do more to turn things around. NBC's David Gregory is traveling with the president. He's in Longboat Key, Florida this morning. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt. The president's in the middle of a 2-day swing here in Florida to promote his education plan, which is stuck in Congress. But as you mentioned, with the economy slide, his advisors know such initiatives are attracting little attention. In Jacksonville Monday, the president dodged questions about whether more tax cuts are necessary to arrest the economy's fall. But top Republicans who are pressuring the White House to do more to stave off the political effects of a recession signaled the president is close to backing a capital gains tax cut. Republicans may be willing to link such a cut with a reduction of the Social Security payroll tax to attract support from Democrats.
Well, I have no doubt that President Bush supports the idea of capital gains tax rate cut. It's not a question of if, it's when.
A cut in the capital gains tax could provide crucial help to the White House because many believe the move would actually produce more government revenue as people sell off assets. The extra money could ease a perilous budget crunch that has the White House considering an across-the-board spending cut to avoid tapping the Social Security surplus. The economy and a looming fight over the budget have left the public anxious.
They're concerned about their jobs, they're concerned about their retirement, and they want to see something happen now, and they want to see some leadership from this city now.
So concerned is the president about appearing in command of an economic recovery. Aides say he will speak about the downturn almost every day, even as his economic advisors anxiously wait for the turnaround they insist is coming soon.
Matt? All right, David Gregory in Florida this morning.